They stood before you, the unique and intricate creation of my own hands, and they held up their simple, worldly measuring sticks. They looked at the blueprint of your soul, a document written in the complex language of eternity, and with the arrogant simplicity of a critic who cannot read. They called it a mistake. They told you that you were flawed. They said, "You are too sensitive. You feel too much. This world will break you." They said, "You are too quiet, too withdrawn. You need to be bolder, louder, more like them." Or they said, "You are too intense, too passionate. You need to tone it down to fit in." They pointed to the unusual grain in the wood of your personality, the knots of your past trauma, the specific and peculiar way I have wired your heart. And they called these things defects. They judge your bespoke design against the cheap, mass-produced template of the world. And they found you wanting. And you, my child, in your pain and your longing to belong, you believed them. You looked at yourself in the mirror, and you saw only the flaws they had pointed out. You began to hate your own sensitivity, seeing it as a weakness. You began to resent your own quietness, seeing it as a social failure. You began to be ashamed of your own passion, seeing it as too much for others to handle. You looked at the story of your life with its unique twists and turns, its heartbreaks, and its wilderness seasons. And you saw it not as a custom narrative, but as a faulty product. You concluded that you were a mistake, a factory second, a misprint from the great press of creation. But their eyes are blind, and their instruments are blunt. They were trying to critique a symphony with a checklist for a pop song. They were trying to judge a wild and mighty oak tree by the standards of a manicured, ornamental hedge. They do not speak the language of the master designer. They do not understand the sacred geometry of the soul I have crafted in you. So listen to me now. Let my voice, the voice that spoke you into being, be the only voice you hear. For they saw a mistake, but I, your maker, see my intentional, breathtaking, and magnificent design. You are not a mistake, my beloved. You are a marvel, and you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Let us speak of the things you have come to despise in yourself, the very things they have called your flaws. Let us begin with your sensitivity. You feel things so deeply. The joys of the world send you soaring, but its sorrows cut you to the bone. You have been told that your skin is too thin. You have been chided for being too emotional. You have come to believe that you are ill-equipped for this harsh, brutal world, that you were designed with a fundamental weakness. But I see not weakness. I see a high-performance instrument. I designed your nervous system with the intricate sensitivity of a seismograph, able to detect the subtlest tremors in the spiritual and emotional atmosphere. I gave you this deep well of feeling, not to torment you, but to make you a vessel of profound compassion. Because you feel pain so acutely, you will be able to minister to those in pain with an authenticity that the shallow and thick-skinned can never know. Because you can sense the unspoken brokenness in a room. You will be a source of healing and comfort. This sensitivity is not a flaw. It is your superpower. It is the antenna through which you receive the frequency of my spirit and the frequency of human need. Yes, it means you must learn to guard your heart, to distinguish between my voice and the noise of the world. A sensitive instrument must be kept in a safe place. But do not ever mistake your sensitivity for a defect. It is a sign of your high calling. I have made you a connoisseur of the heart, a specialist in the language of the soul. They saw a fragile vessel. I see a divine empath, custom made to bring my healing love to a world that has gone numb. And what of your personality? The very grain of your being. The world has tried to force you into its narrow, suffocating boxes. If you are quiet and introverted, it has called you shy, aloof, or arrogant. If you are loud and extroverted, it has called you obnoxious, attention-seeking, or shallow. If you are analytical and thoughtful, it has called you cold and detached. If you are a passionate dreamer, it has called you naive and unrealistic. You have spent so much of your life trying to contort yourself into a shape that is not your own, apologizing for your natural way of being. But I am the one who chose that grain for your wood. I am the one who designed your temperament. If I made you quiet, it is because I have given you a deep inner reservoir of wisdom. And your words, because they are few, will carry great weight. You are designed not for the noisy crowd, but for the deep. One-on-one counsel where your quiet strength will be a balm to a weary soul. If I made you loud and expressive, it is because I have given you the voice of a herald, a town crier for my kingdom, designed to awaken those who are sleeping and to rally the troops for battle. Your energy is not a flaw. It is a gift of activation for the body. If I made you analytical, it is because I have called you to be a builder of systems, a bringer of order to chaos, a voice of wisdom and strategy when others are lost in emotion. If I made you a dreamer, it is because I have given you the eyes to see my future possibilities, to be a carrier of hope and a painter of visions that will pull my people forward. Every personality trait you possess, even the ones you have been taught to dislike, is a tool I have placed in your hands for a specific purpose. To wish for a different personality is to wish for the wrong tools for the job I have given you. They saw a person who did not fit their mold. I see a perfectly designed specialist, custom built for a unique assignment. And your body, this sacred, earthly vessel, you have looked in the mirror and you have measured it against the impossible, ever-shifting standards of the world, and you have found it lacking. You have despised its shape, its size, its features. You have seen it as a source of shame, a flawed container for your spirit. But I am the artist who sculpted you. I chose the clay. I shaped the form. I did not make a mistake. I did not run out of better materials. I formed you with an intimate, loving, and deliberate hand. The eyes you have are the very eyes I designed for you to see the world's beauty and its pain. The hands you have are the very hands I designed to serve, to build, to create, and to hold. The body you inhabit was custom built for the race I have set before you. It is the only vessel that can carry you through the unique terrain of your destiny. To hate your body is to criticize my craftsmanship. To be at war with your physical form is to be at war with my design. I am inviting you today into a new relationship with your body, to see it not as an enemy, but as a partner, to care for it not out of vanity, but out of reverence for the artist, to inhabit it with gratitude, not with shame. The world may glorify one particular type of vessel, but I have created a glorious diversity of forms, each one perfect for its purpose. They saw a body that did not conform to their magazine covers. I see a beautiful, functional, and holy temple for my own spirit. Finally, we must speak of your history. You look back at your past, at your family of origin, at your mistakes, at the traumas you have endured, and you see a cracked and rotten foundation. You believe that because your beginnings were flawed, your entire structure is permanently compromised. You carry the shame of your story, believing it has disqualified you from a beautiful future. But I am the master builder who is famous for building magnificent structures on the most unlikely foundations. And I am the master carpenter who knows that the most beautiful and valuable wood is not the sterile, untouched wood from a farm forest. The most precious wood is the weathered wood, the reclaimed wood, the wood that has lived a life. The storms you have endured have only strengthened the fibers of your being. The pressures you have been under have created a depth of character and a richness of color that a sheltered life could never produce. The knots in your wood, those places of old wounding and trauma, are the very source of your character and beauty. A piece of furniture made from perfectly uniform, knot-free wood is bland and uninteresting. A piece made from wood with knots, with burls, with a story in its grain that is a piece of art. I do not see your history as a flawed foundation. I see it as a seasoning of the wood. I see it as a raw material that has given you a resilience, a wisdom, and a compassion that could have been gained in no other way. I have not been working in spite of your history. I have been working with your history. I have wasted nothing. Every tear, every failure, every wound is being incorporated into the design. They saw a broken past. I see the raw material for a glorious testimony. Do you see, my child, every aspect of your being that you have been taught to see as a flaw is, from my perspective, a feature. It is a deliberate, intentional, and beautiful part of your divine design. The world worships at the altar of a false, standardized, mass-produced perfection. But I, the God of all creation, delight in the infinite diversity of my handiwork. You are not a product on an assembly line. You are a bespoke creation, a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. There has never been another you, and there never will be. Therefore, the invitation today is a profound one. It is an invitation to stop agreeing with the critics and to start agreeing with your Creator. It is a call to lay down the weapons you have been using against your own soul. It is time to make peace with yourself, which is to make peace with my design. Stop looking in the distorted mirror of the world's expectations. Its reflection is a lie. I'm holding up the only true mirror, the mirror of my word, the mirror of my love for you. And in this mirror, I do not see a mistake. I see a marvel. I see a child who is fearfully, wonderfully, and intentionally made. And I see that the work is very, very good. You're standing in the light of my truth. And for the first time, you are beginning to look at the divine blueprint of your life, not with shame, but with a dawning sense of wonder. The voices of the critics are beginning to fade as you attune your ear to the voice of your creator. You're starting to believe that your unique design might not be a mistake, but a marvel. This is the first great step, but to truly heal from the deep wounds of self-rejection, we must go deeper. We must travel back beyond the blueprint, beyond the design phase. I must take you now into the workshop itself. I must show you the secret work I did in the hidden place. You have thought of your origin in purely biological terms, a random collision of genetics in a dark and silent womb. You have seen your beginnings as small, insignificant, and unobserved, but the physical womb was merely the earthly echo of a spiritual reality. Long before you were conceived in your mother's body, you were conceived in my heart. Long before you were formed in the darkness of the womb, you were being meticulously and joyfully crafted in the brilliant, vibrant light of my creative workshop. Let me take you there now. Let me part the veil of time and memory and show you the truth of your making. This hidden place, this secret workshop of the soul, is not dark or empty. It is filled with light and sound and love. And here, I am not a distant, dispassionate force, but a hands-on, joyful craftsman, utterly absorbed in the creation of my next masterpiece, you. See me there, at the great loom of life. Before me are spools of thread of every imaginable color and texture, thread spun from the very substance of eternity. And I am the divine weaver, and the tapestry I am creating is your unique spirit. I did not reach for random threads. I chose each one for you with deliberate, loving intention. I took the thread of resilience, a filament of pure, unbreakable gold, and I wove it through the very center of your being. I knew the storms you would face, the pressures you would endure. And so I wove in you a core of strength that cannot be snapped. It may be tested, it may be bent, but it can never be broken, for it is spun from the eternal strength of my own nature. Then I reached for the thread of compassion, a strand of shimmering, liquid silver. I wove it throughout your spirit, giving you the ability to feel, to empathize, to connect with the hearts of others. This is the thread that makes you ache for the broken, that makes you weep with those who weep. It is this silver thread that the world has misunderstood, calling it weakness. But I call it your anointing, for it is the very thing that will make you a healer. I took the thread of sorrow, a deep, indigo blue, and I wove it into your tapestry. You may wonder, why sorrow? Why pain, my child? A tapestry made of only bright colors is flat and has no depth. It is the dark threads that create the contrast, that give the image its dimension and its realism. I wove this indigo thread into you, not because I delight in your pain, but because I knew that your acquaintance with sorrow would give you a depth of character, a wisdom, and a gravitas that a life of ease could never produce. It is this thread that will allow your joy, when it comes, to be a profound and meaningful thing, not a shallow, fleeting emotion. And then, with a laugh of pure delight, I took the thread of joy, a brilliant, incandescent yellow, and I wove it in wild, beautiful patterns throughout your spirit. This is the thread of your unique humor, your capacity for delight, your ability to see the light in the darkness. It is the unquenchable spark of my own joy that I have placed within you, a spark that no amount of darkness can ever truly extinguish. And so many other threads I chose for you, the steadfast green of faithfulness, the royal purple of your divine identity, the fiery red of your passion. And I wove them together, my hands moving with the skill and speed of a master weaver who knows the finished pattern by heart. The pattern I was weaving was completely unique to you. It is a pattern designed to reflect a specific facet of my own glory that no other soul in creation can reflect in quite the same way. You are not a mass-produced piece of fabric. You are a one-of-a-kind, hand-woven tapestry of eternal significance. Now, come from the loom to the sculptor's stand. Here, I am not the weaver, but the potter, and the substance before me is a soft, pliable clay of my own love. From this, I am shaping your heart. I did not want to give you a heart of stone, hard and impervious. So I chose the softest clay, clay that would remain responsive to my touch, clay that could be shaped and reshaped by my loving hands. I shaped your heart's capacity for love. I hollowed out a deep well within it, a well that would one day be filled to overflowing with my spirit, making you a fountain of love for others. I molded into its very walls a longing for justice, a desire for truth, a yearning for beauty. These longings are not weaknesses. They are homing beacons, designed to always draw you back to me, the source of all that is just, true, and beautiful. I carefully sculpted your heart's unique sensitivities. The things that move you, that break your heart, that fill you with a holy passion, these were not accidents. I deliberately made your heart tender toward certain things. If your heart breaks for the orphan, it is because I have placed a piece of my own father heart for the orphan within you. If your spirit soars at the sound of beautiful music, it is because I have tuned your heart to the frequency of heaven's song. The specific burdens and passions of your heart are not random. They are clues to your calling, They are the fingerprints I left on the clay as I was shaping you. Next, I take you to the jeweler's bench. Here, spread out upon a cloth of black velvet, are the precious stones of my kingdom, the gifts of the Spirit, the unique talents and abilities that I bestow upon my children and for you. I was not just a craftsman, but a connoisseur, selecting a bespoke collection of gems, chosen specifically to adorn your soul. For you, I chose the diamond of clarity, giving you a mind that can cut through confusion and see the heart of a matter. I chose the emerald of healing, placing in your hands, in your words, a capacity to bring restoration and wholeness to the broken. I chose the ruby of passion, a deep, fiery stone that gives you a holy zeal for your calling, a drive that will propel you forward when others grow weary. I chose the sapphire of revelation, tuning your spirit to receive divine insight and wisdom from the heavenly realms. And I did not simply throw these jewels into a bag. I, the master jeweler, carefully and with great precision, set each one into the very core of your being. They are not accessories you can put on or take off. They are an integral part of your design. The gifts I have given you are perfectly suited for the purpose I have for you. You have often looked at the jewels of another and felt envy, wishing you had their gifts. But you would not wish for a master goldsmith to place a ruby where a diamond is required for the design. Trust my expertise as the jeweler. The specific gems I have set within you are the perfect ones for the unique crown you are destined to wear. And finally, I take you to the architect's table, where the blueprints of the mind are drawn. And here, I was not just an artist, but a divine engineer, designing the intricate, beautiful, and utterly unique circuitry of your mind and your personality. I did not use a standard template. If you are a logical, analytical thinker, it is because I took great delight in designing the elegant logic gates and the clear, linear pathways of your thought processes. I built you to be a problem solver, a truth seeker. If you are a creative, intuitive dreamer, it is because I joyfully wove your mind into a sprawling, interconnected web of association and imagination. I built you to be an innovator, a storyteller, a seer of new possibilities. Neither design is superior to the other. Both are expressions of my own multifaceted mind. The tragedy is that the world has tried to convince you that one is better than the other, making you feel ashamed of the very way I have wired you to think. But I, the architect, declare that the wiring is perfect. It is a bespoke neural architecture, custom designed to process the world and to create solutions in a way that no one else can. And through this whole process, my child, the weaving, the sculpting, the setting of jewels, the drafting of plans, do you know what the atmosphere of the workshop was? It was not a sterile, silent laboratory. It was a place filled with joy. I sang as I wove the threads of your spirit. I hummed with delight as I shaped the contours of your heart. I marveled at the beauty of the gems as I set them within you. The creation of you was not a task on my celestial to-do list. It was an act of exuberant, joyful, and loving creativity. You were not a problem to be solved. You were a poem to be written. You were not an accident. You were a deliberate act of my delight. And all this secret, wonderful work was done before the world ever had a chance to speak. It was done before you were ever wounded. It was done before you ever made a mistake. It was done before the first critic ever offered their ignorant opinion. Your original design, the core of who you are, is pure, good, holy, and untouched by the brokenness of the world. The person I made you to be in that secret place, it's more real than the person you have become through the accretion of your wounds and your fears. So I invite you today to remember, to look past the smudges and the scars that life has inflicted, and to remember the loom, the potter's wheel, the jeweler's bench. Remember the joyful, loving hands of your Creator. The truth of your sacred origin is more powerful than the lies of your painful experience. Nothing that has happened to you can ever change the fundamental fact of how you were made. The secret work I did in the hidden place is the foundational truth of your existence. You are not a mistake. You are not a collection of flaws. You are the result of a deliberate, passionate, and joyful act of divine creation. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, because I, your maker, am a God of fear-inspiring wonder. You are standing in the sacred memory of your own creation, the truth of my joyful, meticulous, and loving craftsmanship is beginning to heal the lie that you are an accident. You have seen the blueprint. You have visited the secret workshop. You now believe. in the deepest part of your soul that you were intentionally made, and yet, as you return to the present moment and inhabit your own skin, the old questions can still arise, though now they are tinged with a new sincerity. The question is no longer, am I a mistake, but rather, my maker. If you are so wise and so good, why did you design me with this? Why this specific trait that makes my life so difficult? Why this peculiar wiring that causes me so much pain? You look at certain aspects of your own design, and though you may now believe they were intentional, you cannot help but see them as design flaws. You feel like a beautiful, handcrafted instrument that has been given a string that is perpetually out of tune, a key that always sticks. This is a question of purpose. For in my kingdom, and in all of my creation, form always follows function. I am not a whimsical, abstract artist who creates for creation's sake alone. I am a divine engineer, a master craftsman, and everything I make for a purpose. Every curve, every line, every gear, every wire in your design has a specific and necessary function. The reason you have perceived certain parts of yourself as flaws, because you have been trying to understand their form without yet understanding their function. The world, in its ignorance of your purpose, has judged your form and found it wanting. Today, I will reveal to you the purpose hidden in your peculiarities. Let us take these design flaws that you have so long lamented and place them on the workbench. Let us examine them together under the bright, honest light of my truth. We will begin with what you have called your greatest weakness, your tender heart. You feel everything so deeply. A sad story can make you weep. An act of cruelty can shatter your peace for days. You absorb the emotional state of others like a sponge. The world has called you too sensitive, too emotional, a bleeding heart, and you have come to believe it, seeing your tenderness as a liability in a cold, hard world. You have tried to build walls around your heart, to toughen up, to feel less, but you see a heart that breaks too easily. I see a heart that I have designed to be a finely tuned diagnostic instrument. I have given you the gift of a tender heart so that you can detect the spiritual and emotional pain in others that the hard-hearted completely miss. Your tenderness is not a weakness. It is the very thing that qualifies you to be a master healer, because you feel the sting of an unkind word so deeply. You will be a person who speaks with profound kindness, because your own heart has been broken. It has been broken open, creating a space of compassion large enough to hold the pain of others. Do not try to harden your heart. That is like a master violinist trying to deaden the strings of his Stradivarius. Instead, I am calling you to learn how to steward your gift. I will teach you how to discern between the pain that is yours to carry and the pain that you are meant to give back to me. I will teach you how to create healthy boundaries so that your gift is not exploited. Your tender heart is not a design flaw. It is a sacred trust. It is a very feature that allows you to be a vessel of my most tender mercies in a world desperate for a gentle touch. Now, let us examine what you have called your stubborn will. You have a tenacity, a persistence that has, at times, gotten you into trouble. Yeah, you can be single-minded, unyielding, and resistant to change. The world, and even you, has called as stubborn, difficult, or rebellious. You look back at the times your stubbornness has caused conflict, and you feel shame, but you see a stubborn will. I see a divinely implanted spirit of unwavering endurance. I knew the path I had for you would be long and arduous. I knew there would be immense opposition. I knew you would be tempted to give up 1,000 times. And so, I built into your very nature a holy tenacity, a spiritual grit that refuses to let go. Yes, when your will is not aligned with mine. This trait can manifest as destructive stubbornness. That is why your life has contained lessons designed to soften and surrender your will to me. But I have no desire to break your will. I desire to capture it. For when you're magnificent, tenacious, stubborn will is fully aligned with my perfect will, you will become an unstoppable force for my kingdom. Your stubbornness will be renamed unwavering faith. Your resistance to change will be renamed steadfastness in the face of compromise. You will be the one who continues to believe when everyone else has given up. You will be the one who holds fast to the promise in the middle of the storm. Many of the world's greatest saints were simply my most gloriously stubborn children who refused to believe anything but my word. Do not despise your strong will. Surrender it and watch me use it to change the world. Let us look at your over-analytical mind. You think so much. You dissect every problem. You question every motive. You get lost in the endless details of a situation, the world, which prefers simple, easy answers, has called you a head tripper, an overthinker. You have been frustrated with yourself, wishing you could be more simple, more carefree, more able to just let go. But you see a mind that is tangled knot of questions. I see a mind that I have designed for profound wisdom and strategy. I have not created you for a shallow, surface level faith. I have created you to be a miner who digs for the deep veins of truth. I gave you a questioning mind so you would not be satisfied with religious platitudes, but would wrestle with my word until it yielded its deepest treasures. I gave you an analytical mind so that you could see the hidden patterns in the chaos and bring my divine order and strategy to complex situations. Yes, a mind designed for deep thought is also susceptible to the trap of anxiety and doubt. That is why I am training you to subject your thoughts to the truth of my spirit, to use your powerful intellect as a tool in my hand, not a weapon against your own peace. You are not meant to be carefree. You are meant to be a carrier of my deep counsel, a source of profound wisdom for a confused and shallow world. Your mind is not a flaw. It is a deep drilling rig designed to access the riches of my wisdom that are hidden from the casual observer. And what of your restless spirit? You have a part of you that can never be fully satisfied. You achieve a goal, and for a moment you are content. But then a new horizon calls to you. You find a place of comfort, but a holy discontent soon begins to stir. The world has called this instability or ingratitude. You have judged yourself for it, wondering why you cannot just be happy with where you are. But you see a restless spirit. I see a holy hunger for eternity. I have deliberately placed this divine dissatisfaction within you. I have made you a pilgrim, a pioneer, a sojourner. I have made your heart restless so that you will never make this fallen world your permanent home. This restlessness is the compass of your soul, and it is permanently oriented toward me and toward your heavenly home. It is this holy hunger that will keep you pressing forward, growing, and seeking more of me. It is this pioneer spirit that will make you a leader, one who is always pulling my people out of their comfortable cul-de-sacs and onto the grand, adventurous highway of my purpose. Your restlessness is not a character flaw. It is a homing beacon. It is the sign that you were made for another world, and your spirit will not be fully at rest until you are home with me. Finally, and most profoundly, let us look again at your broken past. You see the wounds, the trauma, the shame of your history, and you believe it is an irreparable flaw in your design, a permanent disqualification. But you see a broken past. I see your divine qualification. My child, in my kingdom, the only ones who are truly qualified to bring healing are those who have been wounded themselves. The only ones who can bring authentic hope to the hopeless are those who have journeyed through hopelessness themselves. The only ones who can speak of my grace with real power are those who are most aware of their own desperate need for it. Your wounds are not your disqualification. They are your ordination. I am the God of the wounded healers. The very places where you have been most deeply broken will be the very places from which your most powerful ministry will flow. I will teach you how to draw from the well of your own healed pain to offer living water to those who are still dying of thirst. Your past does not discredit you. It accredits you. It gives you a credibility in the eyes of the hurting that a perfect, painless life could never have. Your testimony will not be, "Look how I avoided the pit," but rather, "Look at the great God who met me in the bottom of the pit and lifted me out." That is the story the world is desperate to hear. Do you see? My beloved, every single trait you have viewed as a flaw is, in fact, a feature that is absolutely essential for your divine purpose. Your entire being has been custom designed. Think of your life as unique, oddly shaped key. The world looks at it and laughs. It has too many strange notches, too many peculiar grooves. It doesn't fit any of the standard, mass-produced locks that the world values. And so, you have spent years trying to file down your notches, to straighten your grooves, trying to make yourself into a simpler, more standard key, so you can fit in. But I, the divine locksmith, have been weeping over your attempts to destroy your own design. For I have created you in your exact, peculiar shape for a reason. There's a specific door, a specific destiny, a specific treasure that I have created, and there's only one key in all of creation that will fit its lock. And that key is you. The very notches you have despised are the ones that will engage the tumblers of your destiny. The very grooves you have tried to hide are the ones that will open a door that no one else can open. To sand down your sensitivity, to straighten out your stubbornness, to simplify your complex mind is to ruin the key. It is to make yourself unfit for the very purpose for which you were wonderfully and fearfully made. So I am calling you today to a radical act of obedience. I am calling you to embrace your peculiarities, to stop apologizing for them, to stop fighting them, and to begin seeing them with a new sense of wonder and curiosity. I invite you to bring them to me and to ask, Father, my Maker, what is the holy purpose of this trait you have given me? Show me the lock that this strange and wonderful key was designed to open. You are not a collection of problems to be solved. You are a set of divine solutions to be deployed. You are not a flawed design. You are a perfect key. And when you finally embrace the fullness of how you were made, you will discover the joy and the power of fitting perfectly into the lock of the destiny I have prepared just for you. You are standing now in the architect's office, gazing with new eyes upon the blueprint of your soul. You have seen that every line, every curve, every seemingly strange and peculiar dimension of your being was drawn by a loving and masterful hand. You have visited the workshop and understood that your composition is not an accident, but a deliberate act of my creative joy. The lies that called you a flaw or a mistake are beginning to lose their power. You are starting to believe that you are, in fact, fearfully and wonderfully made. But I know the question that logically follows. You hold this new understanding in your heart, like a unique and oddly shaped key, and you look out at the world with all of its standard, uniform, locks, and you wonder, my Maker, I believe you have made me this way for a purpose. But when will this strange design ever be of use? Where in this world is the lock that this peculiar key was made to open? You have been holding the key to your destiny in your pocket, but the door has remained hidden, and you have begun to wonder if it even exists. My beloved, a master locksmith does not craft a key of such intricate and unique design without having already created a specific and glorious lock for it to open. The season of you understanding your design is now maturing to the season of you deploying your design. The time of hiddenness is ending. The time for the great unveiling. The time for the meeting of the key and the lock is now at hand. I am announcing a divine turning point in your life. It is a season where the purpose of your unique, bespoke design will finally be revealed and activated in the world. I am the divine choreographer, and I am aligning person, purpose, and timing in a convergence so perfect it will take your breath away. I am moving you from the back of the studio, where you have been studied and prepared, to the front of the gallery, where your purpose will be displayed. How will this happen? It will happen through a series of divine setups. I will arrange the circumstances of your life. I will place you in environments where your so-called peculiarities are not only tolerated, but are the very solution that is desperately needed. I will bring people across your path who are not looking for a standard, mass-produced key, but who have a specific, intricate problem that only your unique key can solve. I will allow a situation to arise that stumps the wise and confounds the strong. The world, with all its standard tools and conventional wisdom, will be powerless to solve it. A spirit of confusion and despair will descend. And then, in that moment of profound need, I will bring you forward, and you, in your simple, authentic obedience, will insert the key of your unique being into the lock, and with a satisfying, decisive click, the door will swing open, the problem will be solved, the breakthrough will come, and the world, which once mocked the strange shape of your key, will stand back in utter, silent awe. Let us speak of how this will look, for the very traits that once brought you the most shame are about to become the source of your greatest honor. Remember your tender heart, the one they call too sensitive. I am about to place you in a situation of profound and impenetrable brokenness, a family in crisis, a person locked in the prison of grief, a community paralyzed by a collective trauma. The strong, the logical, the thick-skinned will all have tried to help, but their words will have been like stones, their solutions like empty platitudes. They will stand back, helpless, and then I will nudge you forward, your tender heart, which so accurately feels the pain in the room, will not offer easy answers. Instead, it will compel you to simply be present, to weep with those who weep, to offer a touch or a word of such pure, unadulterated empathy that it becomes a divine scalpel, cutting through the scar tissue of their pain and allowing my healing love to finally pour in. They will look at you, their hearts unlocked, and they will not see a sensitive person. They will see a supernatural healer, an ambassador of my compassion. Your greatest perceived weakness will be unveiled as your most powerful anointing, and your stubborn will, the one they called difficult and pig-headed, I am leading you toward a moment of intense pressure, a moment when a promise I have given you will look utterly impossible. All the voices of reason will tell you to give up. Your friends will advise you to cut your losses. The enemy will bombard you with evidence of your imminent defeat. The temptation to compromise, to retreat, to settle will be immense. And one by one, those around you, those with more flexible wills, will begin to falter and fall away. But you, my beloved, tenacious child, you will remain. Your stubbornness, now sanctified by your trust in me, will be revealed as unwavering faith. You will plant your feet upon the rock of my word, and you will refuse to be moved. You will look at the storm, and you will not bend. And because you hold your ground, because you refuse to give up, you will be the one standing in the right place at the right time to see the breakthrough, to witness the Red Sea part, to receive the fulfillment of the promise. And those who once called you stubborn will now look at you with wonder and call you a hero of the faith. Your inflexibility will be revealed as your integrity. Your bullheadedness will be unveiled as your belief. What about your over-analytical mind, the one that gets lost in questions and details? A crisis is coming to your community, your family, or your work. It will be a complex, multifaceted problem with no obvious solution. Panic and fear will spread like wildfire. People will rush about, proposing simplistic, emotionally driven solutions that only make the problem worse. The situation will devolve into chaos, and in the middle of that chaos, you will be strangely calm. Your mind, which you have so often cursed for its complexity, will go to work. It will not be driven by the panic. It will begin to do what I designed it to do, to see the patterns in the chaos, to analyze the root causes of the problem, to quietly, carefully, and logically think through the consequences of each possible action. And then, when all the noise has died down, you will speak. And what you speak will be a word of such profound wisdom, a strategy of such brilliant clarity, that it will cut through the confusion like a beam of light. You will bring order where there was chaos, a solution where there was only desperation. And the very people who once teased you for overthinking everything will now flock to you for counsel. Your perceived mental flaw will be unveiled as a rare and desperately needed gift of divine wisdom. And your restless spirit, your holy discontent, you will find yourself in a place of comfort and stagnation, a place where everyone is satisfied with good enough, a place where the vision has died and has been replaced by a comfortable routine, and your spirit will begin to ache. You will feel that familiar restlessness, the pull toward a distant horizon. In the past, you would have condemned yourself for this, calling it ingratitude. But now, you'll recognize it as my call, and you will have the courage to stand up and speak of a better way. You will begin to dream a new dream, to paint a vision of a greater possibility. At first, people will resist you. They will call you a troublemaker, a disturber of the peace. But because your dream is not born of your own ambition, but from the holy hunger I have placed within you, it will carry my authority. And slowly, miraculously, you will see your vision begin to ignite the hearts of others. You will awaken them from their slumber. You will lead them out of their comfortable cul-de-sac and onto the adventurous highway of my purpose. And the world will no longer see a restless soul who can't be satisfied. They will see a visionary leader, a pioneer sent by God to call his people to a higher place. And finally, your broken past, the story you have hidden in shame, you will encounter its soul who is trapped in the very same pit you once inhabited. They will be locked in an addiction, a cycle of abuse, a prison of shame that you know so well, all the well-meaning. Unwounded people will have tried to help them, offering advice and judgment from the edge of the pit, but their words will not have reached the prisoner, for they do not speak the language of that particular darkness. And then I will bring you to them, and you will not shout advice from the top. You will climb down into the pit with them, and you will sit with them in the dark, and you will speak the language of the broken. You will be able to say, I know this place. I have lived here, but I also know the way out. Your shared experience, the very wounds that you thought disqualified you, will become your divine credentials. You will have a credibility that no one else possesses. And because you have been there, because you know the specific lies and the specific truths needed for that battle, you will be the one who can finally lead that prisoner into the light. Your greatest shame will be unveiled as your most potent ministry. Your brokenness will be revealed as your key to unlocking the chains of another. Do you see the pattern? My child, the very thing the world mocked in you is the very thing I will use to save others through you. The key the world called worthless is the key that will unlock prisons. The season of being misunderstood is ending. The season of being magnificently and powerfully used is beginning. I'm not changing you into someone else. I am simply placing you in the situations you were designed for. I am bringing you to the locks you were made to open. The time for being ashamed of your design is over. I am putting my own design on display through you. And I'm not ashamed of it. I am glorified in it. So stand up straight. Take the unique key of your life out of your pocket. Stop apologizing for its shape. Hold it with confidence. Not in your soul, but in me, the master locksmith who designed it with perfect, loving, and fearful wonder. For the door is before you, and the time to turn the key is now. The lock has turned with a satisfying click. The great door of your purpose has swung open, and for a glorious, breathtaking moment, you have seen it. You have witnessed the divine alchemy of my wisdom, seeing how the very peculiarities of your design, the traits you once called your flaws, are, in fact, the perfect and only key for the destiny I have prepared for you. The vindication is real. The revelation is true. The awe of that moment is a new anchor for your soul. You stand now on the threshold of this new room, this new season of your life. The light from within is warm and inviting, but a lifetime of habit is a powerful force. You have spent so many years trying to contort yourself to fit into other rooms that were too small, too dark, too ill-fitting for your soul. And so, even as you stand at the entrance to your own authentic life, you hesitate. The old ways of being, the familiar patterns of self-rejection, call to you like comfortable, worn-out shoes, even if they have given you blisters for years. The question that now rises in your heart is one of habitation. My maker, I have seen the door open, but how do I walk through it? How do I live inside this new room every day? How do I inhabit this true self you have revealed to me? When the ghost of the person I have always tried to be is still following me so closely. This, my beloved, is the journey from revelation to resonance. It is one thing to be shown the house that I have custom built for your soul. It is another thing entirely to move in, to unpack your bags, to arrange the furniture, and to learn to live there with the joyful, relaxed confidence of a child in their own home. I am now inviting you to stop being a visitor who peers through the window of your true identity. I am inviting you to come inside and to fully inhabit the fearful and wonderful creation that you are. To do this, we must first be honest about the old habits. The ways you have learned to fight against my own design. For years, you have practiced the habit of apology. You have subconsciously apologized for your very existence. When your sensitivity showed, you said, "I'm sorry, I'm just too emotional." When your analytical mind needed to process, you said, "I'm sorry, I'm probably overthinking this." When your introverted nature needed solitude, you apologized for not being more sociable. You have treated your God-given design as an unfortunate inconvenience to others, something for which you must constantly make amends. This habit of apology has been a subtle but constant denial of my craftsmanship. You have practiced the habit of comparison. You have lived your life with your neck craned, constantly looking into the windows of other people's houses. You have admired their decor, their layout, their size, and you have felt a deep and painful discontent with your own. You have wanted their sociable, open plan personality when I have given you a quiet, cozy study for deep thought. You have coveted their simple, rustic cottage of a life when I have been building you a complex, multi-layered mansion with rooms you have not yet even discovered. This habit of comparison has been the thief of the joy of your own unique inheritance. You have practiced the habit of suppression. This is the most exhausting habit of all. You have spent immense amounts of energy actively trying to be someone I did not make you to be. You, my quiet thinker, have forced yourself to be the life of the party, only to collapse in exhaustion afterward. You, my passionate dreamer, have tried to squeeze yourself into a pragmatic, colorless box to be more realistic, suffocating your spirit in the process. You, my tender-hearted healer, have tried to be tough and cynical to survive in a harsh world, betraying your most beautiful gift. This suppression is a form of spiritual violence against yourself. It is an attempt to silence the music I have written into your soul and to play a tune that is foreign and dissonant, and you have practiced the habit of misusing your gifts. You have taken the very strengths I gave you, and because they were not surrendered to my spirit, you have allowed them to be used in a broken way. You have used your tenacious, stubborn will for selfish ambition instead of for holy endurance. You have used your powerful, analytical mind for worry and judgment instead of for wisdom and strategy. You have used your profound sensitivity to manipulate others or to wallow in self-pity instead of to minister with compassion. A sanctified strength is a superpower. An unsanctified strength can be a weapon of self-destruction. These are the old, ill-fitting ways of living. They are the habits of an orphan trying to earn their place, not an heir resting in their identity, but the lease on that old life has expired. The door to your true home is open. Let me give you the new practices, the ways of the one who is learning to joyfully inhabit their own. Wonderfully made self. The foundation of it all is the practice of radical self-acceptance, which is, in its essence, the practice of God acceptance. It is the conscious, daily choice to agree with my assessment of your design. It is an act of your will. When the old, familiar, self-critical thoughts begin to whisper their poison, you must meet them with the authority of a new declaration. When the thought comes, you are too sensitive, you must meet it with the truth. I am finely tuned for compassion. My Maker does not make mistakes. When the thought comes, you are so strange and peculiar. You must meet it with the truth. I am a unique key, designed for a unique purpose. I am wonderfully made. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. It is bringing your internal dialogue into alignment with the truth of your Creator. You must become a fierce guardian of your inner world, granting no audience to the old lies. Your approval of my design, your acceptance of how I have made you, is a profound act of worship. It is telling me, Father, your work is good, and I will honor it by agreeing with you. From this foundation of acceptance, you can then move to the practice of operating in your genius zone. I have created you with a specific set of strengths and a natural way of being. To live in your true self is to stop fighting these things and to start leaning into them. It is to steward your energy wisely by doing what I have actually designed you to do. If you are an introvert, it means you stop seeing your need for solitude as a weakness and you start seeing it as a necessary requirement for you to be at your best, you will schedule solitude into your life. Unapologetically, you will learn to say no to excessive social demands, not because you are selfish, but because you are a wise steward of the energy I have given you. If you are an extrovert, you will lean into your gift of gathering people, of creating community, of bringing energy into a room. You will stop apologizing for being too much, and you will start seeing your energy as a gift to be deployed. To operate in your genius zone is to ask, what activities energize me? What ways of being feel most natural and life-giving to my soul? And then to intentionally structure your life as much as possible to allow you to live from that place. The result will be a life of far less effort and far more effectiveness. You will stop swimming against the current of your own design, and you will start joyfully floating with it, carried by the grace of how I have made you. This leads naturally to the practice of setting boundaries that honor your design. For years, you may have seen boundaries as selfish or unkind. I tell you that healthy boundaries are an act of profound self-stewardship and are essential for anyone who wants to live out their purpose. Your specific, unique design has specific, unique needs. A person with a tender, sensitive heart cannot expose themselves to a constant barrage of violence and cynicism and expect to remain healthy. They need to set boundaries on the media they consume and the people they allow to speak into their lives. This is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is protecting the sacred instrument I have given them. A person with a great visionary calling needs to set boundaries on the demands of the urgent to protect the time and mental space required for the important. A boundary is simply the loving declaration that this is where I end and another person begins. It is the fence you build around the property of your soul to protect it from trespassers. To live in your true self is to know what your soul needs to be healthy and to have the courage to provide it. This is not selfish. It is the only way you will have a healthy, whole self to offer in service to the world. Finally, and most powerfully, you inhabit your true self through the practice of surrendering your strengths. It is not enough to simply accept and embrace your unique design. The final and most crucial step is to continually and intentionally surrender all of those design features, especially your greatest strengths, to me, to be sanctified and used for my purposes. You lay your tenacious will at my feet and say, Father, use this for your glory. Make me stubborn for the things of your kingdom. You lay your analytical mind at my feet and say, Father, fill this mind with your wisdom. Let me think your thoughts after you. You lay your tender heart at my feet and say, Father, break this heart with the things that break your heart, and then use it as a vessel of your healing. When your strengths are surrendered to me, they are safe, they are sanctified, they are multiplied. They become the superpowers that I unleash through you into the world. But an unsurrendered strength can easily become your greatest idol and the source of your downfall. My beloved, can you feel the freedom in this? Can you feel the release? The exhausting, lifelong project of trying to be someone else is over. The war against your own soul is over. I am giving you a divine permission slip. I, your maker, your designer, your creator, give you permission to be you, the beautiful, peculiar, sensitive, strong, analytical, creative, wonderful you that I designed from before the foundation of the world. So come, walk through the door. Come into the house that was built for you. Feel how your shoulders can finally relax. Feel how your breath can finally go deep. This is your home. This is your truth. This is your design. Inhabiting it, embracing it, and living from it is the greatest act of love and worship you can give back to me, your maker, who looks at you, his fearful and wonderful creation, and says, "You are my beloved, in whom I am well pleased. You are learning to live in the house that I have built for you. My child, the rooms of your unique personality no longer feel strange and ill-fitting, but are becoming a place of comfort, of peace, of home. You are learning to accept my design, to inhabit your true self with a new and quiet confidence. You are discovering the profound peace that comes from ceasing the war against yourself. This is a glorious and necessary season of homecoming. But I must tell you, a house is not a fortress in which to hide. A home is not a final destination in which to retire. In my kingdom, a home is a home base. It is a place of safety, of resourcing, of identity, from which you are launched into the world. You have not been so fearfully and wonderfully made simply for your own comfort. You have been custom designed for a custom purpose. The journey into self-acceptance is the prelude to the journey into your unique assignment. Now that you know who you are, it is time to understand what you were made for. I am not a mass producer. The assembly lines of the world churn out millions of identical products. But that is not my way. I am a master craftsman of bespoke goods. A bespoke suit is measured and cut for one person and one person alone. A bespoke key is forged and filed to fit one specific and unique lock. And you, my beloved, are my bespoke creation. Your soul is not an off-the-rack item. It has been measured, cut, and stitched with a specific purpose in mind, a purpose that no one else in the history of creation can fulfill in the same way you can. You are a fearfully and wonderfully made creation, designed for a fearfully and wonderfully unique purpose. Your design and your destiny are two sides of the same divine coin. They are inextricably linked. The very peculiarities you once saw as flaws are, in fact, the precise qualifications for the mission I have prepared just for you. Let us return to the workbench where we examined your design. But this time, let us look not only at the feature, but at its divine function. We spoke of your tender heart, the finely tuned instrument of compassion that I designed. What is its bespoke purpose? The world is full of general practitioners of kindness, and they are a gift. But there's a specific and profound wound in the body of humanity that requires a specialist. It is the wound of unspoken grief, of hidden shame, of quiet despair. It is a wound that cannot be healed by a loud sermon or a simple formula. It requires a quiet, intuitive, and profoundly empathetic presence for this wound. I do not need a general surgeon. I need a spiritual neurosurgeon. Your sensitivity, your ability to feel the subtlest tremors of the heart, is your specialization. Your bespoke purpose is to go into the quiet, forgotten rooms where the deeply wounded are hiding, and to be my presence there, to sit in the silence and to offer a healing that is beyond words. Many can shout from a stage. Only you, with your specific design, can heal in a whisper. We spoke of your tenacious will, the holy stubbornness I have woven into your spirit. What is its bespoke purpose? I have a dream in my heart, a great and difficult work for my kingdom that must be built. It is a long-term project. It will require years, perhaps decades, of patient, persistent, and often thankless labor. It will face immense opposition. The enemy will attack it. The world will mock it. And even my own people will misunderstand it and lose heart. Many have the initial passion to start this work. Many have the skill to lay the first few stones. But their wills are not designed for the long haul. They will grow weary. They will be distracted. They will give up. But you, my wonderfully tenacious child, you were built for this. I designed your will not for a sprint, but for a marathon. Your stubbornness, when sanctified and surrendered to me, is the very spiritual engine that will see this project through to completion. You are a finisher. You are a builder of things that last. Your bespoke purpose, then, is to take on the long, difficult, and glorious assignments that others abandon, and to persevere until the final stone is laid and the work is complete. Many are called to be starters. You have been fearfully and wonderfully made to be a finisher. We spoke of your analytical mind, the one that sees patterns, asks questions, and digs for deep truth. What is its bespoke purpose? The world is drowning in a sea of shallow information, of emotional reactions, of simplistic and often dangerous ideas. People are starving for wisdom, for clarity, for a path through the chaos, for this great and tangled problem. I do not need another cheerleader offering empty platitudes. I need a strategist. I need a clear thinker. I need a wise counselor. Your mind, which you once cursed for its complexity, is the very instrument I have designed to untie the great knots of your generation. Your bespoke purpose is to be a source of my divine wisdom. It is to bring clarity to confusion, to devise strategies for complex problems, to teach the profound truths of my word with a depth and a coherence that will anchor people's souls in a storm. You will be the one people seek out when its simple answers have failed. Do not resent the way you think. It is a rare and precious gift. I have made you to be a wise master builder, an architect of truth in an age of confusion, and your restless spirit, your holy hunger for more. What is its bespoke purpose? Many of my people have become comfortable, settled, and complacent. They have mistaken the campground for the promised land. They have built their homes in the wilderness and have forgotten that they are on a pilgrimage. And so, the great forward movement of my kingdom can stagnate. Your restless spirit is my answer to that stagnation. You are my pioneer, my scout, my trailblazer. Your holy discontent is not a flaw. It is the divine engine of progress that I have placed within you. Your bespoke purpose is to stand at the edge of the camp, to point to the distant mountains of my greater promise, and to say, there's more, Let us go forward. You are designed to challenge the status quo, to awaken my people from their comfortable slumber, and to call them to the high adventure of their true calling. You will often feel lonely in this role. Not me. You will be misunderstood. But your restlessness is the divine catalyst that will keep my people moving toward their destiny. Do you see, my child? Every part of your unique design corresponds to a unique and necessary function in the world. You are not just a random assortment of interesting traits. You are a highly specialized, custom-designed instrument. This is the ultimate answer to the poison of comparison. To compare yourself to another is not just unhelpful, it is nonsensical. It is to compare a key made for a treasure chest to a key made for a castle gate. Both are essential. Both are valuable. But they are not interchangeable. Their designs are different because their purposes are different. The fact that you are so different from those around you is not a sign of your deficiency. It is the clearest possible sign of your unique and irreplaceable importance. The world doesn't need another copy of your neighbor. It desperately, urgently needs the one-of-a-kind original that is you. For you are my specific and tailor-made answer to a specific problem in the world. Your life is not a random series of events. It is a divine appointment, the family you were born into, the place where you live, the job you have right now, the people who surround you. This is the specific lock I have placed you in front of. And your unique personality, your specific gifts, your painful history. This is the key. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to stop trying to be a different key. It is to stop being ashamed of the shape of your key. It is to bravely, humbly, and confidently insert the key of your authentic self, surrendered to my spirit, into the locks of the situations and the hearts that are right in front of you. And I invite you into this partnership with me now, in a new and conscious way, every morning. I want you to come to me and say, Maker, I am your bespoke creation. I surrender my unique design to you today. Show me the lock you have created me to open. Guide my hand. Let me be the perfect instrument in your hand today. This is a life of profound purpose that you have always longed for. It is a life free from the exhausting burden of trying to be someone else. It is a life filled with the adventure of discovering the next lock, the next door, the next treasure you were made to open. You are my secret weapon, an oddly shaped key that the enemy does not understand and cannot replicate. So embrace your uniqueness, not just as your identity, but as your mission. The things that make you different are the very things that make you indispensable. The world is full of standard keys that can open standard doors, but the greatest treasures of my kingdom are hidden behind locks so complex, so peculiar, that only a key as fearful and wonderful as you can ever hope to open them. You are now standing on the precipice of your great adventure. My beloved, the unique, and once despised key of your life is now firmly in your hand. You have a new understanding of its peculiar shape, and you are beginning to see the locks of divine purpose that are appearing before you. You are moving from a life of apology and shame to a life of partnership and mission. This is the great work of your time on earth, to courageously and authentically deploy the fearful and wonderful design that is you for the glory of me, your maker. But even as you embark on this beautiful terrestrial mission, I must lift your eyes to one final, ultimate horizon. For the purpose of your design does not end with your last breath. The unique creation that is you was not made only for the short, fleeting moment in time. You were made for eternity. And the wonder of your making, which is just beginning to be unveiled on earth, will be a subject of celebration and a source of my unending delight for ages upon ages. The story of your life, the saga of how your unique design was perfectly suited for your unique purpose, does not end when your earthly chapter concludes. That story becomes a permanent volume in the great library of heaven. And you, the creation itself, will become a permanent and celebrated exhibit in the grand gallery of my eternal kingdom. I want you to envision this place. It is a hall of wonders, a gallery filled not with paintings or statues, but with my living, breathing, redeemed, and glorious creations. Here is the fierce, leonine spirit of Elijah. Here is the steadfast, rock-like heart of Peter. Here is the intricate, philosophical mind of Paul. Each one is a marvel, a one-of-a-kind creation that reveals a different facet of my own creative genius. And in this gallery, among these heroes of the faith, is a place that has been prepared and designated for you. For all of eternity, your unique and wondrous design will be a source of praise and a subject of holy study. The angels, those brilliant and powerful beings who are not made in my image in the same way you were, will gather before you. They have witnessed your struggle. They have seen your redemption. But now, in the full light of heaven, they will be able to truly appreciate the sheer artistry of your making. They will marvel at the intricate way I wove your spirit, soul, and redeemed body together. They will study the complexity of your heart, the resilience of your will, the beauty of your unique personality. Your very being will be a lesson to them on the depths of my wisdom and the fearful wonder of my craftsmanship. You will be a living sermon to the heavenly hosts on the glory of their Creator. And your uniqueness will be a vital note in the eternal symphony of worship. Heaven is not a place of monotonous uniformity where all voices are blended into a single, generic sound. It is a place of perfect, glorious harmony, where billions of utterly unique voices, each singing their own true note, come together to create a song of unimaginable beauty and complexity, the specific note that you were designed to sing, the note that comes from your unique history, your specific personality, your one-of-a-kind heart. That note is required for the symphony to be complete. Without your voice, without your unique expression of praise, there would be a subtle but real emptiness in the music of eternity. The very things that made you feel different and isolated on earth are the very things that will make your contribution to heaven's song so priceless and irreplaceable. You have been created to add a color to the rainbow of worship that no one else can add. And the story of your life, the one we are co-authoring now, will become one of the great sagas of the kingdom. It will be told and retold. The story of how your perceived weakness was revealed as a strategic strength. The story of how your peculiar design was the only key that could open a critical door. You will be known in heaven, not as one who is perfect, but as a perfect example of my perfect design. Your life will be an eternal testimony to the fact that I, your maker, do not make mistakes. And what of your homecoming? What will that moment be like? When you, my unique creation, finally enter the home you were created for, my child. It will be the first time in your existence that you will feel completely, utterly, and perfectly understood. It will be the first time you will feel like you truly and completely fit on earth because of your bespoke design. You have often felt like a puzzle piece that doesn't quite fit anywhere. In heaven, you will enter a social and spiritual ecosystem that was custom designed for you. Every aspect of your personality will find its perfect expression. Every longing of your heart will be met. Every gift you possess will be fully activated and celebrated. It will be a homecoming, not just to a place, but to your truest self. You will finally be free to be the fullness of the person I created you to be, without any fear, shame, or misunderstanding. And you will look around at the breathtaking diversity of the other souls, the other exhibits in my gallery, and you will feel a profound sense of family. Your unity will not be based on a boring conformity, but on a shared identity as the beloved, unique, and cherished children of the one great Creator. And the very purpose of your design will find its ultimate and unending fulfillment. Your tender heart, which ached with the sorrows of a broken world, will find itself in an eternity of pure, unbroken love to both receive and to give. Your analytical mind, which wrestled with the frustrating questions of a finite world, will have the infinite mind of God as its glorious and unending playground of discovery. Your restless spirit, which could never be content on earth, will have a new heaven and a new earth to explore, to pioneer, and to co-reign over with me. Every part of your design that felt unfulfilled or underutilized on earth will be fully engaged in a state of endless joy, purpose, and creative adventure. This, my beloved, is your destiny, the glorious, eternal celebration of your fearful and wonderful design. This truth is your ultimate anchor. This promise is your unshakable foundation. Your value is not up for debate. Your design is not flawed. Your place in my heart and in my home is secure forever. So how shall you live? Knowing this, you shall live with a holy and fearless authenticity. You no longer need to seek the approval of the world, for you know that you already have the eternal admiration of heaven. You no longer need to be ashamed of your peculiarities, for you know they are the very keys to your destiny. You no longer need to fear being misunderstood, for you know you're on your way to a home where you will be perfectly known. This frees you. It frees you to be unapologetically, gloriously, and authentically you, the real you, the you I dreamed of before I laid the foundations of the world. Live out the remaining chapters of your earthly mission with courage and with joy. Do not be afraid to be different. Do not be afraid to be misunderstood. You are my agent of wonder in a world dying of uniformity. You are my splash of vibrant, unique color in a world that has grown gray with conformity. Be who I made you to be. It is the most powerful gift you can give to the world, and it is the most beautiful gift you can give back to me, your maker, who looks at you with a father's unending pride and says, "Behold, my fearful and wonderful creation, and now my wonderful creation, my beloved child. Let the great cosmic scope of eternity recede for a moment. Let the noise of your high and holy calling grow quiet, and simply be here with me Be still. Breathe in my love for you. A love that is not based on your performance, but simply on your being. Breathe out the long, weary effort of trying to be someone else. You can rest now. The striving is over. You are enough. You have always been enough. I am the great artist, and you are my favorite work. I delight in you. I delight in the unique way you think. I delight in the specific way you feel. I delight in the sound of your laughter. There's no part of you that I do not cherish. Lay your head down now in the safety of your Maker's love. Let my peace be the blanket that covers you. Let my pride in you be the song that soothes you to sleep. You are not a problem I had to solve. You are a poem I chose to write. You are not a project I had to fix. You are a person I have always and will always love. The world may not understand you, but I do. And that is all that matters. Rest now, my fearfully and wonderfully made child. Rest.